The United Kingdom.
Oh my god, get in the bin, ads. Get in the bin.
Race in Formula Reginol Middle East Trophy. A couple of cars not getting away off the start. Everybody else has got to pick their way through. As there is a battle for third place. Kia Nakamura goes wheel to wheel. Round the outside of Nakamura first. Oh, Alcino Benito.
The Formula Regional Middle Eastern Trophy returns this weekend. This is race number 3, round number 1. It has been an absolute amazing race 1 and race 2. Race 1 bringing all the action, race 2 bringing all the action. Let's see if we can bring more action to race 3. We'll recap race 2 in a few moments' time. Let's head it down to the pit lane.
In the United Arab Emirates, it's time for a little bit of history, potentially, to be made. The man on pole position, Reginol, Mercedes F1 Junior, and the man who lives just a few minutes away from this fantastic circuit, has the chance to make the UAE a race-winning nation in this category in the championship's very first weekend. Has he got what it takes, and have the other 31 drivers got what it takes to beat him? We're about to find out.
This should be a very interesting weekend indeed. Race number 2 was epic. We're about to see if race number 3 can provide the same action. If you missed out on race number 2 yesterday, it was absolutely insane with a big crash off the line. But first of all, before we recap that, we've got to recap where we're racing this weekend. We're racing in Abu Dhabi. 3 sectors, and the track is absolutely amazing. Of course, the F1 circuit as well. It's been an absolutely amazing weekend so far. Let's recap the track. We're racing around 16 corners, 5,281 metres, and distance from end point to start point is approximately 315 metres from start point to end point on this circuit. But yeah, 16 corners, 5,281 metres. We've got some very good racing still to come. This should be very interesting. I'm excited. Hope everybody else is as well. Race number 3. Let's recap race number 2 real quickly. We've had it was insane, the racing that we saw yesterday, with a big crash off the line. we had 4 safety cars in that race. And if you're used to racing, 4 safety cars, you know, is a lot. Plus a red flag as well, quite unfortunately, with a monstrous crash off the line, laying down all sorts of oil and all that sort of stuff. But yeah, huge crash. And the 2 cars, nearly, I think 3 cars were involved. All 3 drivers were A-OK and were able to step out of the car, which is always good news in this sort of championship with these cars. Chassis has also helped as well. The supports within these cars are insane. So these cars are well protected in an incident like that. So good to see that everybody was A-OK and hopped out of the car. But now we're heading on to a brand new race. This should be exciting. I'm excited. Hope everybody else is as well. Some exciting racing yesterday. Yesterday we saw Christian Ho win his first race. The Chinese driver won his first race in his F4 career. Can he go on to do that again? Well, he's starting P19 in this race. That will be a very difficult one, especially with not very many opportunities to overtake around this circuit in particular. So we'll see, and we'll wait and find out as to exactly how this will unfold for the drivers. It will be a bit of a challenge for them, especially coming into the first few rounds of the championship. But I think the drivers should be able to face this spectacular circuit. But yeah, it's also very good to see that the drivers that hopped out of that massive incident were A-OK, and were checked in by the medical crew, the amazing medical crew here at Abu Dhabi, to make sure all the drivers were A-OK at the end of that incident. But yeah, it was an exciting race yesterday. Let's get more behind the scenes as to exactly what's happened overnight here in Abu Dhabi.
Well, the driver's trophy, I should really say. Formula Regional Middle East Trophy. Alex Abkasala has 33 points, Christian Ho has 29, and the man on pole position, Rashid Al-Baheri, has 28. So he's only 5 away from the win. If he keeps the lead of this race, he goes into the lead of the point standings, heading back to Yas Marina next weekend. 4th in the standings is Alex Ninovic on 21. Miguel Costa and Max Popov share P5 on 19. And then Salim Hanna and Kia Nakamura Berta both have 12. Taito Kato has 10. Alex Powell has 8. And Francisco Macedo has 6. The only other point scorers are Kaidar Yanani, Maxim Ren, and Newman Chi. Only the top 10 drivers across the finish line in each race score points. There were no bonus points for pole positions or for fastest laps. In the rookies category, Max Popov currently leads that, 5 points clear of Miguel Costa and 20 points clear of Salim Hada. Kia Nakamura Berta has 18, Alex Powell has 15, with André Dupé on 13, Maxime Rem and Artem Sibarukin both on 12, Sebastian Weldon on 10, and Kavan Anadag and Andrea Kostic both have 8.
So yeah, there are your championship standings coming into this round. There are your championship standings as the cars make their way out on to the grids. But as I said, we'll get some more behind the scenes. The reason why I cut back in there. So here we go. We're actually going to go through the grid here. So we have Rashid Al-Daheri, who lines up on pole position, the Yas Marina driver. He lives a couple minutes down the road. Can he successfully come back and win this race? He's not won a race throughout the 3 races so far this weekend. He's scored a good chunk of points. He scored nearly 28 points so far this weekend, so he's scored a good chunk of points. But now he has to consistently keep that up. If he wins this race, he takes the championship lead coming into this round. So that will be very interesting to see what he can do. Second place on the grid, I think this is Alex Ninovic, the Australian driver. Can he make a performance for us Australians? And see if he can possibly, keyword possibly, try and win this race. That would be exciting to see an Australian win an F4 race like this. It is so competitive in the Formula Regional Middle Eastern Trophy, especially with people like this guy, Alex Powell. He will be a close contender here today. He will be fighting for this win. Alex Powell, the Pinnacle Racing Motorsport driver, sitting in third position, also taking a drink from his water bottle. Half Jamaican, half American, according to the car there. So half Jamaican, half American. In fourth place, we have, this is Maximilian Popov, who sits in fourth place at the moment. Sorry, this is Maximilian Popov, the Jamaican driver, sits in fourth at the moment. So we'll see what he can do from that position and see if he can try and make a few spots up the grid. The Jamaican driver sits in fourth there with his driver coach standing next to him, probably giving him some tips off the line here. Like the track might be a little bit different compared to when you went racing yesterday. Of course, 3 races over the weekend. We had 1 on Friday, 1 on Saturday, 1 on Sunday, 1 45-minute practice session, and 2 12-minute qualifying sessions. So not much time throughout the weekend. There is Christian Ho, who sits in P4 in this one. See what he can do from that spot on the grid. King Nakamura Berta lines up next. He sits in P5 in this race. See what we can do from that position. The Mumbai Falcon driver. The Japanese driver won the Italian F4 Championship last year. He's now moved to the Middle East to see if he can try and win another championship at this rate. He's only about 12 points over off the championship lead, so he can very much take the championship lead at the end of this weekend if he wins this race, or even come second, I would only think. So we'll see what he can do. I think this is Kai Anurag, who sits in Kabir Anurag, the IRT driver, who sits in 6th place alongside the Italian F4 champion. So we'll see what he can do to try and beat, to have that apex race into turn number 1. And then we make our way further back down the grid. This is Francisco Macadico, who sits in P6, the VAR driver, sitting a bit further down than what he would like. In P7 on the grid. We're moments away, actually, from race start. A bit of a delay to the start of not only this coverage, but it was a delay to the start of the race. Zenril Chi, who finished yesterday's race in P10, scored 1 point. He was quite excited, quite elated with that performance indeed. Here is our championship leader. I would think this is Abazaka, who leads the championship by 2 points coming into this race. The MP Motorsport driver, he'll be wanting to try and regain that championship lead. He starts P9 in this one. So it'll be a bit of a challenge for himself to try and make his way through the grid. That is Andrea Kostic, who sits in P10. Just on the brink of the points coming into this race, the Trident driver. And the team adjusting the front wing there of that car coming into this race. This is Kabir Anurag. Coming up this is Severu Khan, the Croatian driver, with the G4 Racing team as well. MP Motorsport, of course, lead the Constructors' Championship at the moment. So we'll see what MP Motorsport can do. This would be Miguel Ethel Acosta, the Brazilian driver, the RPM Racing team. They currently lead the Constructors. He starts P13, Miguel Acosta. We make our way further a bit back down the grid. This is P14 on the grid. I would think this is Amsat Yukisano. He came third in this race this time yesterday. The RSGP driver. It was a little bit later that the race finished yesterday because, of course, it was nearly 90 minutes length. We were actually meant to have a 40-minute gap between this and the F4 Middle Eastern race, but we didn't. Jan Perezowski, who went pretty well in the Formula Regional European Championship last year, will be looking to do again this year. But yeah, yesterday was quite a lengthy race. My voice, let me tell you this much, my voice hurt by the end of that one. I was doing quite the heck amount of screaming, I'll tell you that much. This is Dion Gowda, the VAR driver. Will be lining up P15 in this one. Very much a struggling qualifying. Didn't have the pace he probably would have wanted. We know how strong Dion Gowda is. Expect him to make his way through the grid. Just like most of the drivers. Giovanni Maschio, who ended up involved in an incident yesterday. He was able to make his way back out on to the track here for race number 3. He's able to make his way out onto the grid as well. we make our way over to one of the RSGP cars, and not able, I think this is Gerard, the RSGP driver, car 73, sits P17 in this one. We'll see what he can do from that point in the grid. It is quite hard to overtake around here at Abu Dhabi, so don't expect much overtaking. This is Andrea Jupp, the G4 Racing driver. They're very much concentrated coming into this race. A lot of drivers did end up getting taken out yesterday, so we only finished with 24 drivers in yesterday's race. This is Wampao Fu here, the VAR driver, car 68, lines up P20 on the grid. So we've actually made it quite far down the grid here for the start of this race. He starts P20 on the grid. And now, the team's drivers are going to make their way off the grid, and we're going to get ready for the formation lap to start this race. One formation lap, then continuously followed by lights out before we go racing here at Abu Dhabi. Bit of a delay to the start of this race. This race starting a little bit later, 5:30 here at Abu Dhabi. Bit of a delay to the start of this coverage as well. But of course, no other racing action is still to come here today on Travis Motorsports. So we'll see what happens here in this one. Tomorrow, we've got a packed afternoon. Let me tell you that much. We've got qualifying for the Formula Regional Middle Eastern Trophy once more for round number 2 here at Abu Dhabi. They're using the corkscrew section for round number 2. That's qualifying for round number 2 tomorrow. Then, race number 1 from, I would like to think, 3 minutes past 5, according to my schedule here. 3 minutes past 5, race start there. Then we have race number 2, which is then conclusively starts at 9 o'clock. So a bit of a later start for everybody here. 9 o'clock Australian time. So set your alarms, set your clocks. It'll be about 4 a.m. for, I think, Adam, who I think has just joined the stream. Good afternoon, good evening, good morning, Adam. Adam, whatever time it is for you. I think he's just joined. Not completely sure though. But yeah, good evening, good afternoon, good night, whatever time it is for everybody over there. But yeah, welcome to the Formula Regional Middle Eastern Trophy. This should be a very exciting race, like what we had yesterday. Very exciting indeed. The cars will make their way off the grid, and we will get for the formation lap, which will be conclusively getting its way under the way. Rashid Al Dahiri will lead us off the line, and the drivers will make their way now on their formation lap, getting as much temperature into the tyres, getting as much temperature into the rubber as possible. And as I explained yesterday, you need friction to get as much temperature into these tyres as possible. We'll see what happens throughout this formation lap and see if these drivers can manage to get that temperature into the tyres as well. This should be exciting. If it's anything that we're to go by in race number 2, expect action. Expect action aplenty, especially off the line. How many safety cars will we get today? Can we beat 4 safety cars? We'd very much not like 4 safety cars, nor would we like a little red flag in this one. But I suppose we'll wait and find out to see what happens as the drivers make their way through the second sector on the circuit. It has been about 24 hours from now. We're going to take a look at the starting grid. It's Rashid Al Dahiri and Alex Nivich, P1 and P2. And Alex Pout and Maximilian Popov, the Jamaican driver, in P4. Christian Ho in P5. And Kinaka Morberta, Kabir Anawag, and Francisco Magadigo. Then we have Zenrud Chi and Alexander Azarga. Andrei Kostic and Artem Severukan. Miguel Costa and Yuki Sano. Jen Perozowski and Dion Gara in P15 and P16. Giovanni Maschio and Gerard in P18. Andre Diop and Phil Wauhau in P19 and P20. Salim Hanna and Matteo Gagagi in P21 and P22. Maxim Rem and Kai Darianani in P23 and P24. Enya Dion Frey in P25. And Rabia in P26. Neto and Rue in P29. And, in P29, that is Sebastian Weldon in P29. So, yeah, that is your grid. We've got 2 cars. that, of course, did not make it out of the grid, quite unfortunately, due to that accident that happened yesterday. I did mention that there were 2 drivers that were not able to make their way out onto the grid today due to that accident, and their cars have sadly been retired. But we'll see them in round number 2 here at Abu Dhabi. At the corkscrew section of the circuit, that should be exciting. I'm excited to see what happens there. But yeah, we'll be racing at the corkscrew section of this circuit in just a couple of weeks, in a couple of hours' time. Actually, make that 24 hours time, if I'm being completely honest with you. 24 hours' time, we'll be racing at the corkscrew. This should be a very exciting race, if I do say so myself. If anything is to go by from, for example, race number 2, probably one of the best races we've seen in the Formula Regional Middle Eastern Trophy so far this year. Can we continue that? We'll have to wait and find out. Before the lights go out, I'd like to say, hit like button, subscribe. We're trying to make our way to 200 subscribers before the end of 2026. If you guys could hit like button, also even subscribe, that would be absolutely amazing. We've got 28 minutes plus 1 lap. Hope everybody enjoys the action that is still to come. The green flag will be at the back of the grids, and that will indicate the lights will come on and we'll go racing. Medical car lining up at the back of the grid. Green flag waves. 2, 3, 4, 5 red lights are up on the gantry, and it's lights out, and away we go. And a good start from Reginol. There is someone, 2 people, 3 people have not moved. Is it going to be? Oh no, no it isn't. But there were 3 people that did not move off the line. Reginol there, he leads into turn number 1. Alex Powell, who sits in P3. Ninovich in P2 is around the outside. Goes Maximilian Popov, and out the turn up on the curb as well. Harry leads the race over Alex Ninovich in P2 and Alex Powell in P3. 2 Alexes sit P2 and P3, but Ninovich, the Australian driver, who sits in P2. Good start, and Harry leads out in front. Yeah, it was a good start from the Asmarine. He's been absolutely pitch perfect on his starts so far this weekend, and he's done it once more. Good start. 27 minutes plus 1 lap, and so far so good. All the cars out over the ripple strip as they make their run through and cut 2 cars wide of the apex there as they made their run out onto the Formula 1 main straight. Now into turn 1 of the Formula 1 main straight. This is turn 10. Sorry, I make that correct myself. Turn 8 on the circuit. The car's making their run now through the fast right end of turn number 9 and into the braking zone now of turn number 10. Very important couple of corners, because turn 9 sets your run up for turn 10 to see if you can even make a move. But so far, so good. Harry breaking the slipstream, moving left, moving right. As he tries to break the slipstream that would be behind for Alex Ninovich, who is looking for his first win here in the Middle Eastern F4 Championship. Late on the brakes, Harry covering. Is he able to do so? There's a car side by side further back. And around the outsides goes, and that's a good move. They're 2 by 2 into the chicane. Contact and straight on, and nearly in the barrier as well. Straight on at the chicane and nearly into the tyre barrier that they set up overnight. 3 wide into turn number 1. Now, I haven't actually been able to recorrect myself here. Who is this? It's Zartan Severukhin covering off the back of, I would like to think, Andrea Kostic. But so far, so good. 25 minutes and 38 seconds remain here in race number 3 of the Formula Regional Middle Eastern Trophy. Yeah, it's been a good start from all these drivers so far. They've kept it quite clean in the early stages, or the early phases of this race, as you'd say. And drivers will be eager to make a move early on in this one to see exactly what pace they have. See if you can actually try and pull out in front. Now we've got a problem for, I think that was Alex Ninovich. Alex Ninovich has dropped further back. Alex Ninovich has had a problem, and he's dropped down on our timing screens. There's cars going wide of the apex. Out on the ripple strip and up the inside goes one of the RPM cars. Yeah, it's absolutely all kicking off here in race number 3 as cars try and make their moves in the early stages or the early phases of this race before, of course, it all calms down. As there's lock-up and there's dust being kicked up as well. Up the inside goes one of the RSGP cars once more. Side by side and slipstream will be available to the cars as they make their run down the back straight. 3 wide. 3 wide further back. This is Key Nakamura Berta. Pop off from Kai Anurag. Late on the brakes for Key Nakamura Berta. Looking up the inside of Maximilian Pop off. Pop off will be under pressure by Kai Anurag. But I think he's kept it there. Key Nakamura Berta. Absolutely insane racing these two have had. Kai Anurag now to the outside. He'll be looking for a move, and he certainly will. Round the outside, sticks it there. Key Nakamura Berta giving on the squeeze. Kai Anurag once more looking to defend this position. 3 wide Maximilian and Popoff who all want to get involved in this one. Side by side, Popoff and Kai Anurag making the run now down into the fast right-hander of turn number, what I would think, turn number 5 on the circuit. Anurag keeps the position, and Key Nakamura Berta now starts to think of the pulling away from these two in behind. Now, they sit line astern as they've started to back out a little bit here. Zanril Chi, who sits in behind at the moment, will be looking for a move as well, when possible, in this one. Kai Anurag right up on the curb and on the outside of the ripple strip as well. This has been absolutely amazing racing between even these two so far. But I want to know what's happened to Alex Nidovic for him to... And there you go. That would be your problem, I would think. Is that Alex Nidovic into the pits? So that is a problem. And that is really unfortunate as well, because he was in such a good position, the Australian driver, to take what I would think would be a personal best position in this one. In race number 3, 22 minutes and 38 seconds remain on the clock here in race number 3. Rashid Al-Tahiri leads out in front of Alex Pout, the Jamaican. Late on the brakes, closing in on the brakes on to the back of Rashid Al-Tahiri. Closing in on the back ever so slightly. This is Dion Gowder and Prewazowski. Prewazowski with the squeeze to the outside. Kostic being run off the roads. Sorry, that's Dion Gowder being run off the roads. That was for minor points positions, P10 and P11. But it's absolutely kicking off. 2 by 2. 3 wide into the left-hander. What's happening here? And that is 3 wides. On the exit as well, off the road goes one of the RSGP cars. And a squeeze once more going on. It's absolutely all kicking off. I'm waiting for our timing screens here to refresh. Up the curb and being squeezed as well. It was one of the Prema cars being squeezed up the curb. I'm waiting for our timing screens to refresh here. But that was definitely one of the Prema cars being put on a squeeze there. All the squeezing going on. I think that was... Oh, that's a car off and backwards in the barrier as well. Backwards in the barrier with rear left suspension damage. This will be a safety car. I didn't exactly see who... That's car 29. That's Kai Anurag. Off the road into the barrier. And that will be a safety car. And that's exactly what's happened. 5th safety car of the weekend for the Formula Regional Middle Eastern Trophy. And we now contained ourselves. I can catch my breath. With 20 minutes to go. That's a car on the barrier. That would be Kai Anurag. Off and in the barrier. That is really unfortunate there. From the driver. And he's ended up backwards in the barrier here. So the safety car has now been called. And that will give us the time to retrieve that car as well. And hopefully we can get back to green flag racing within the next lap or 2. If the marshals work quick enough. But yeah, Rashid Al-Tahiri, will start controlling the pace of the field until, of course, he's caught the safety car. You have to be on your pit limiter or maintain speed here whilst this safety car is out. But yeah, that is quite unfortunate. We'll actually take this chance to look at the start replay and possibly some other replays that have popped up here as well. There is the safety car on the exit of turn number 1. And now it's a waiting matter to see exactly what will happen. I think I stand corrected. That is not Kainarag in the barrier. It's car 29. I think that's Sebastian Weldon in the barrier. Let me quickly check. So no, it is not. Yeah, so I think it is. Let's take a look here at the race start. It's a good start overall, but it was not a good start for Alex Ninovic. So that's the reason now. I didn't actually catch that. That didn't click. Alex Ninovic did not get off the line. Started second, and there could have been a big accident. There were nearly 3 cars that didn't make it off the line, and 2 of them were parked diagonally into turn number 1. Kind of kicking up dust there on the exit of the curb. But Rashid Al-Dahiri, he led into turn number 1 and led quite sufficiently. Cars up the curb, dust being kicked up by the downforce off the 4 cars, and another bump that's just sent a car absolutely flying up in the air once more. There will be substantial floor damage. We didn't catch that in the background. The car went absolutely flying up in the air. That would explain that. But yeah, it was a pretty good start from everybody. Didn't seem like anybody made any major incidents until, of course, we saw the safety car that did pop out, quite unfortunately, and these were battles that were going on right further back down the grids. This is, I think, what would have happened to the car that's ended up in the fence. What's happened here? So, has he just been touched and spun off into the barrier, or... Yeah, it was just absolute chaos in the first opening couple of laps. And this is, I think, what's happened. No, it's not what's happened. So, try and get a replay of that and when we can. But for now, we're under safety car conditions. And confirmation, safety car is in this lap. So, not much time whatsoever. 17 minutes, 25 seconds remaining. Safety car is in this lap. See what the drivers can do. Through the chicane now. See what these drivers can do to make an effort of themselves. Here is now the green flag waves, and you cannot overtake, I don't think, till the timing line. Pulling out is Alex Powell on Maximilian. Oh, sorry, that's Maximilian Popov on Alex Powell. All the curb being used on the exit, and Rashid Al-Lahiri puts his foot down. And it's green, and go for the from the Regional Middle Eastern Trophy for 2026. Race number 3, final race of the weekend, is now to the outside. Pulls Kainarag. Sorry, that is Kin Nakamura pulling to the outside. Not going to happen there. The Prima driver looks for a move there on Christian Ho. Came third in yesterday's race. Looking to match that in today's race. Outside, back to the inside, back to the outside for Kin Nakamura, looking for the switchback. It's not going to happen in the late part of this race. 16 minutes and 15 seconds to go. We're about to hit the halfway mark in the Formula Regional Trophy.
If you can go toe-to-toe with him and get ahead of him, that's a big feather in the cap for the Williams Jr. Out of the turn, runs a bit deep on the curve, but doesn't lose ground to Ho. Bit of daylight between Christian Ho and Alex Powell in second. And a little bit of daylight too between Powell and the race leader Rashid Al-Lahiri, but the train is still very close on the competitors behind. As in P5, behind Al-Lahiri, Powell, Ho and Nakamura is Khalid Anurag. Then in the points are Popov, Chi, Gostic, Severukin and Dion Gauda. Then we've got Pedovsky, Sano, Shi, Mashio, Rem, Danielani, Weldon, Ninovic, Dubé, Feldman, Nito, Grisel, Giacardi, Fu, Hanna, Macedo, and incredibly, at the back of the field now is Abkasada, the man who won race 1. So down the back straight, Rashid Al-Lahiri guiding his race GP to the lead and keeping it there for the moment. No problems at all as they come into the bonus chicane. Cameron Rag loses the back end, catches it nicely. Oh, there's going to be contact in the bonus chicane. I saw a couple of cars locking up in the final couple of corners of the lap. There was definitely some contact. We could see 1 or 2 cars not coming through. And it looks to me as though there's been a couple of bandside manoeuvres there. Salim Hanna has gone down to the back of the field. Matteo Giacardi has dropped back as well. So they keep going, but Giacardi and Rem have dropped. Giacardi and Hanna I should say, have dropped to the back. Jan Pedowski has been given his first warning for track limits. Rashid Al-Daheri is still the leader from Alex Powell. The gap opens up to 0.8 of a second. But Alex Powell does the fastest first sector of anybody. Just after Rashid Al-Daheri sets the fastest lap of the race. 14 and a bit minutes to go, plus the additional lap. So it's still anybody's race. A little bit of a drift wide for Nakamura Roberta and Anurag. A little bit of dust kicked up. There were other support races going on through the day. I believe there was a start line issue in one of the previous support races on the final turn of the Formula 1 straight. That's why there's a lot of dust being kicked up there. That's actually cement dust that's being kicked up from the recovery from earlier on. There was a red flag in that race earlier. Up through the crest. Left, right, left and down the drop. So far, so good in this battle for the lower end of the points. Artem Severukin running in front of Pedowski, Sarno. That's Weldon battling away with Gerard Sheed, Giovanni Mascio and Kaido Yanani. Alex Ninovic trying to work his way back up the order. We could see a few more overtakes. But that's music to the ears of the Emirati Motorsport fan base. Al-Daheri ahead of Powell. Here we go. The cavalry's going to the braking zone. 3 wide. Careful. Make sure you know where everybody's going to go. Oh, we've got a big incident out of the final turn, another home straight. Big incident right in front of my commentary position. Oh my goodness. That's the aftermath of it. As into the pits to park it comes Maxim Ren. And a big incident for one of the RPMs. I think that's Giovanni Mascio. Giovanni Mascio has crashed on the finish line. And that is disastrous for the RPM driver. So that really is a big incident, and that's Mascio out. Safety car has been called again. Well, big drama down here on the main straight as it happens right in front of my commentary position. I can see the beginning of that incident. Mascio was trying to catch the car and he stuffed it into the barriers. Dear, oh dear, oh dear. Safety car again. So that's game over for the Italian.
Kind of unfortunate there for Giovanni Mascio. Ended up in the barrier. That's the end of this one. 12 minutes to go. We've passed the halfway mark and we've got halfway to go. And that's quite unfortunate there for Giovanni Mascio, who now sits further down the grid than what he would probably want in this one. And actually, where that car is parked, I would like to think maybe we might even have to go a red flag here due to where exactly that car is parked. It does make it a bit dangerous, especially where the safety car will be parked on the exit of turn number 1. Drivers have to go through there. So maybe we might even have to go red flag here for the second time this weekend. If, of course, that car is parked exactly where it is. Let's take a look at the replay. How has he lost this? So, coming out of the final corner. That's disastrous. And that would explain what's happened. Red flag. And a red flag has been called here, ladies and gentlemen. Another red flag here. All cars to follow the safety car into the pits for the second successive time here in race number 3 of the Formula Regional Middle Eastern Trophy. Second time. Wow. That is really unfortunate there.
The cars and the debris on the circuit means that we're under red flag conditions. So very unfortunate indeed then for Giovanni Mascio, but the good news is that after a frightening looking accident on the main straight, he's okay. So the cars will now stop in the pit lane. The clock will eventually stop ticking and then we'll note when the red flag was taken, and that's how many minutes will be left of this race. So, a very dramatic conclusion. Giovanni Mascio is just going straight to the ambulance for precautionary checks. That's part of the protocol. That's not because he's injured. That's because in an accident like that, all drivers need to be checked just to make sure that they're A-OK. But I can see for myself with my own eyes out of the commentary box window that Giovanni Mascio is okay. He's in communication with the medical team. He's a little bit fed up, as you can imagine, but he's conscious and he's communicating. And, well, his focus can now be on the race start. The clock stopped at 11 minutes, 6 seconds to go. So that's how many minutes we'll have when the race restarts. So drama aplenty. We could certainly see that it was one of the Mumbai Falcons that he tagged with there. I'm guessing that was Sebastian Weldon, who was battling with him at the time. There's only 3 Mumbai Falcons in this race. Kian Nakamura was up in P4 and Salim Hanna was already at the back. So I can calculate that that was Sebastian Weldon that he was involved with. So unfortunately, the American may have some damage from that because he slewed halfway across the circuit there as well. So now we'll have to see what happens in the next few minutes. There is Newman Chi getting himself ready. Looks like they're having to clear some debris from the side pod of his CL Motorsport machine. Everybody just asking the question to the drivers, are you okay? Everything all right? That's Max Popov being talked to there by his engineer. Kabe Anurag still in P5. Kian Nakamura Berta P4, Christian Ho P3, Alex Powell P2, and the race leader is still Rashid Al Daheri. But can the Emirati hang on to the victory in front of his home crowd? The Mercedes Junior, who's just joined the academy. Goodness me, this is a lot of pressure to put on a youngster. But it's not like this is Rashid Al Daheri's first rodeo. He's been here before with a lot of pressure on his shoulders in the past. But now we'll get to see if he can soak up the pressure in a brand new car on a circuit he knows like the back of his hand. He grew up just a few minutes away from here. Maxim Rem is walking away from his car from the circuit side. So I think Maxim Rem may well be either out of this race or just going and asking the officials what the situation is there, because he went over to the pit wall to have a look. The incredible marshals team here from the Emirates Motorsport organisation are now going to work to clear the debris, and most of the debris is already gone from the finish line, I have to say. They are so good, the team here at Yas Marina. And having worked at many motor racing circuits around the world, I can put my hand on my heart and honestly say that this is one of the best circuits in the world to work at. The team here couldn't be more friendly and certainly eager to help and eager to please. I remember the first time I came here back in 2021 to commentate on what was then known as Formula 3 Asia. The competition was going to be an exciting one. We were going to use the corkscrew layout, and I asked the officials, is it okay if I walk the circuit during the lunch break? Because I don't really know the configuration of the corkscrew layout very well. They said, walk it. You can take a golf cart round if you want. That wouldn't even be a conversation at somewhere like Silverstone or Imola or Paul Ricard. But here at Yas Marina, they are only too happy to help. The can-do attitude, the brilliant nature of this fantastic team of personnel gathered from all over the world, not just here in Abu Dhabi, but it is a fabulous place to go racing and certainly make my job 1,000 times more pleasant and 1,000 times easier.
When you're lost in...
Yeah, the drivers now have to face a bit of a challenge here with this red flag being thrown in the late phase of this race. We're going to restart the clock with 11 minutes and 6 seconds to go. It'll be a bit of a challenge for our drivers to see exactly what they can do off the restart here. Let's take it to the pit lane now with Jake Sensen.
So the drivers getting themselves lined up in position. The 5-minute pit board will be shown in the pit lane at 16:35. So it looks like the clean-up job is already pretty quick. And we will start the racing again at 16:40 local time with 11 minutes and 6 seconds on the clock under a safety car restart. That should be for only one lap, and then we'll go back to racing. So I do believe that was Michael Beloff off to the side of his teammate's car there, Newman Chi, just keeping an eye on things. The 5-minute board at pit lane at 16:35 local time. CL Motorsport team just getting themselves ready for this restart. The excitement and the enthusiasm for this new Tartus racing car evident, as now we're getting another exciting race battle. Charles Gower-Dunn pointing out that it's crazy that half the grid is 16 years old. The average age of the starting grid here is 17 years and 11 months. It's quite amazing, really, isn't it? Well, the remains of Giovanni Maschio's car have just passed the commentary box window, and I have to say, there is quite a lot of damage there. So they're going to have to work on that. We're going to see a replay. This is going to be the start line incident of Alex Ninovich. And there were several cars that didn't really get away. It wasn't just Alex Ninovich. He finally does get moving, but unfortunately any chance of the win is washed away. If you look in the background, Alex Abgasava doesn't move very quickly, and nor does Dion Gowder. So some big problems there. I think Mattia Giacardi also had his problems there. I think Mattia Giacardi also had his really feisty in his first Reginol weekend of the season. It's like great to see this one. Everybody really going at it. Dion Gowder and Jankowski completely at loggerheads as they went through. We saw the CL Motorsport retire at NAF Freight. Very unfortunate for the Swiss. Miguel Costa also having problems. He got out of the car and walked away. August Raver in the wall. Sadly, we don't know how that incident started, only how it finished, and that is the accident that puts on the red flag. Manny Maschio battling with Sebastian Weldon, but fortunately, as you can see, he was able to get first Emirati ever to be given, Formula One Junior Academy status, although not the only one, of course. 5-minute board goes up. A really exciting challenge for the contenders around them. They obviously know that there's going to be a really exciting run for the contenders as they move forward. Because, of course, Rashid Al-Daheri is not the only Emirate driver to become a junior driver of an academy, because, of course, we've got Kabir Anurag of the Alpine Academy on the grid, but his stablemate in the Alpine Academy is Kiano Al-Azari, who is, of course, the older brother of Adam Al-Azari, who we saw earlier on in UAE 4. So we've now got 2 drivers, potentially 3, on the way to Formula One from the United Arab Emirates. Both of the Al-Azari brothers, and of course the man who leads in Formula Regional Middle East Trophy here on home turf for him in Abu Dhabi on the Yas Marina circuit, that of Rashid Al-Daheri. So everybody getting themselves ready for the restart. Fantastic work from these guys. A massive pat on the back needs to be given to the marshalling team of men and women around the circuit here at Yas Marina. They've been absolutely sensational all weekend long. So it really is great to see just how much work has been done over the course of this weekend. So we will have 11 minutes and 6 seconds on the clock when we go back to race trim. The safety car will lead them off. The time will start ticking, and hopefully the safety car will only be leading us for 1 lap around the course. It could well be 2. So we'll keep an eye on things, but certainly for Rashid Al-Daheri and Alex Powell, it really is now or never. Three-minute board. And then we'll have just 11 minutes to play with here at Yas Marina, although in reality, that will become 8 by the time they come around at the end of the lap. It will be a rolling restart to answer the question of Lando for life. No prizes for guessing who he supports or she supports. I could be wrong on either front.
So yeah, this restart will indeed be very, very interesting. The red flag has brought us to a halt here at Yas Marina. Giovanni Maschio going into the barrier. Minty the Moose says it's a cracking championship. Indeed, it certainly is. If Rashid Al Daheri wins this race, he goes into tomorrow in the corkscrew section with the championship lead. So that will be an interesting point of view for the drivers to face. Bit of a challenge as well. Of course, there are 31 other drivers out there that will be trying to beat him. I would like to think that we would have quite an interesting battle come the last 3 or 4 laps of this race. At least the last 3 or 4 laps we will get here. Yeah, Finn R. We are certainly using a different layout for tomorrow's action. Qualifying, race number 1, 2, and 3. Race 1 and 2 will be happening tomorrow afternoon. Qualifying will also be happening tomorrow afternoon. Race number 3 will be happening from 4 o'clock, with me taking Sunday off as well. So no stream Sunday. So yeah, 3 races will be completed come Saturday. Another 3 races will be completed, but come Saturday afternoon, about 5:30. The week will finish 5:30. Then next week we have Sunday and Monday off. Oh, streaming Monday. Fun fact. We're doing Double Dare Tuesday. A bit of a different way of thinking here. So a bit of a new challenge that I'm doing. Double Dare Tuesday. That will be happening from Tuesday, of course. Then Wednesday I will be doing the safety car has now been deployed. So we're back to yellow flag conditions. The safety car will lead us around for probably, I would think, 2 laps. Then Wednesday, I'm back to the Formula Regional Middle Eastern Trophy for race number 1, qualifying for round number 3, then followed by race number 1 that night from 7:30. Then Thursday, back to normal, 4:05, race 2. Friday, 4:05, race 3. Then, next week is the start of Bahrain testing. So, Friday, we're doing, of course, 2 hours. Friday, we'll probably do 3 hours. Friday, probably maybe 2 hours. Then, Saturday, probably about maybe 3 hours. Sunday, this is next Sunday, by the way, another 3 hours or so. So that should be fun. We'll see what happens with the drivers for the start of the F1 season, which is pre-season testing for the Formula 1 Championship. And then, the week after, we're taking a break for the Formula Regional Middle Eastern Trophy. Taking a break for a couple of weeks. For at least the Formula Regional Middle Eastern Trophy, then we're back to normal ways. That is my plan for the next couple of weeks. So, according to Benti Tony, he says, same layout according to the official track map on Championship. Documents closed, so no corkscrew. So apparently we're not going to be racing on the corkscrew section tomorrow. We'll see what happens, though. We will see what happens for the drivers. That will be a challenge to see what happens. 9.5 minutes to go. I'm going to guess by the time we get back to the grid here for the Middle Eastern Trophy, we will be racing for about 8 minutes or so. Be a couple of laps to see how the drivers race. Of course, we've already seen a lot of racing so far this weekend. Race number 1, we went safety car free. We had 3 safety cars with a red flag. We've had 2 safety cars today, plus a red flag. Practically make that 3. So we've had 9 safety cars throughout 2 races. That has been not a lot of racing throughout the last 50 minutes worth of racing for race 2 and even race 3 as well. So not a lot of racing whatsoever. So Rashid Al Daheri within the last 8.5 minutes, his mindset here will be mainly just get to the end. Get to the end of this race here. It's been a tough, long week so far. His mindset, just get to the end. That will be the way he'd be thinking at this point. Just get to the end. Don't make a mistake. And it seems as if we're going to be doing, I would think, 2 laps. 2 laps under safety car here, confirmed. So yes, 2 laps under safety car to get tyres and brakes up to temperature. So yeah, 2 laps under safety car. So we're probably going to be, we're going to need about 3 laps of racing, I would like to think. Would like to think we're probably going to get about 3 laps of racing. It's been an absolutely insane week so far. 6 minutes, 10 seconds remaining in this one. Challenge for the drivers. Hopefully, we will see the safety car come in this lap. Safety car hopefully will be in this lap. With 5 minutes, 50 seconds to go. Confirmation, safety car is in this lap. The lights are out. And the safety car will pull away. Rashid Al-Tahiri must maintain speed here. But we will see what happens. 5.5 minutes to go. Hopefully we can go green flag to the end of the Grand Prix. What has felt like a very long 2 streams so far. Within the last couple of days, it has very much felt like a long couple of streams. But now we head into round 1, race number 3. 5 minutes, 11 seconds remaining. And Rashid Al-Tahiri leads us away here for race 3. Green, green, green. We're back to green flag racing here for the Formula Reginol Middle Eastern Trophy. Rashid Al-Tahiri leads us away over Alex Powell, Christian Ho, Ki Nakamura, Berta, Kai Anurag. Anurag looking around the outside. That is on Ki Nakamura, Berta. It's not going to happen that time around. He's lost a bit of time on the exit of turn number 1. The drivers, though, making their way through turn 4 now, up to turn 5. Hit the apex, right at the curb. Ki Nakamura, Berta, though, he's looking for a move here. So keep an eye on this battle. Christian Ho, Ki Nakamura, Berta, if he can get a good run out of here. And he could probably send it up the inside at the final corner on the Formula 1 layout. But that will be a challenge for Ki Nakamura, Berta. If he was to do that, he'd have to get a pretty good exit. Almost have grip packs here, but a good restart from the drivers. All cars going up the ripple strip and concrete dust being kicked up on the exit. Dust being kicked up on the exit of the curb. With 4 minutes to go in the Grand Prix. Rashid Al-Tahiri leads us out in front by 7/10 of a second to the gap of Alex Powell. It's now just starting to close up just a little bit. Slowly but surely starting to close up. 2.5 minutes to go. Apparently at this point in the stream was quite buffery, so a lot of the footage was cut out, quite unfortunately. So we're now back down to 2.5 minutes to go, and Rashid Al-Tahiri continues to lead the Grand Prix. At the moment, we have 4 cars out of the race. Fred, Costa, Rem, and Giovanni Maschio. 2 minutes to go. We're going to get probably 3 more laps of racing for the drivers. Challenge not only for the drivers, but for the marshals as well. They've done an absolutely amazing job so far this week. The marshals putting on an amazing show, and we certainly cannot do it without them. As we come to a close for round number 1, Rashid Al-Tahiri, all he has to do this is another 2 or 3 times here 3 more laps to go as up the inside is one of the RSGP cars. That is car 78, 73. That is Gerard and Prawanzowski having a good old scrap further back down. Gerard and Prawanzowski. Gerard covering Prawanzowski to the outside. This is 3 wide, looking down up the inside. It's the Rodin Sport car. Up the inside, he's getting the move done as he rides the curb on the inside. He's getting the move done. Prawanzowski's there, he's under pressure. And now to the outside. Sebastian Weldon is there as well. This is a 4-way battle. Gerard, Prawanzowski, Nedovic, and Sebastian Weldon. And Neto might be coming into this as well. 45 seconds remaining on the clock. This is a battle, 4-way battle pack, making this nearly a 6-way battle pack, to be honest. If I'm being completely honest with you, this battle has got much, much more intense. This is further back down the grid as well. Cars being kicking up concrete dust in behind the curbs. So far, so good for the drivers here is Sebastian Weldon. Looking for a very sneaky move on the back of Nedovic, who's made his way up through the grid. He's actually made up 7 spots here. Not only off the safety car restart, but off it just in general. Made up 7 spots. So he's done a pretty good job here, Nedovic. Starting P2, so shows he's had good pace. I think he's had good pace overall throughout the weekend. Car off in the background. But Rashid Al-Daheri, he's starting to gap the field here a little bit. The Yasmarinian driver could win on his home circuit and could also take the championship. What a weekend this would be. Final lap now getting underway. Alex Powell in P2, Christian Ho in P3 as we start the final lap of the Formula Regional Middle Eastern Trophy for round number 1. New era of these Gen cars has approached us, and it's approached us, well, quite unfortunately. We've had 3 cars that are absolutely destroyed, make that 4 throughout the weekend, but it has been an absolute amazing weekend for the drivers, and even through the teams. But for now, Rashid Al-Daheri, the RSGP team, can celebrate, sorry, the RPM team can celebrate, should I say. Well, they can't celebrate yet. They still have about another 7 corners to go before they can start celebrating. But with the gap Rashid Al-Daheri has, you would think that he'd be safe. Not many more battles going down further back down the grid. So far, from what we can see, the cars kick up the dust on the exit of the curb. So far, so good though. Race 3 has absolutely turned it on. So has race 2. Race number 1 was a bit of a stalemate compared to the other 2, and really had to show a bit of evidence. The drivers sort of picked up their game in race number 2 and race number 3, sort of felt the track a little bit more. You'd think 50 minutes of practice would be plain enough, but it's certainly not. Not for these drivers. Rashid Al-Daheri, though, the Yasmarinian driver, he scored a good bank of points. He finished P5, 10 points. P2, 18 points. And now it's going to be a maximum 48 points. The checkered flag drops. And it's Rashid Al-Daheri who wins race number 3 of the Formula Regional Middle Eastern Trophy. Certified by the FIA, Alex Powell in P2 and Christian Ho in P3. The MP Motorsport team will be very happy with that. The RSGP team, though, they can celebrate. The Pinnacle Racing team, though, they can also celebrate with Alex Powell on the podium. And Christian Ho, the MP Motorsport team, can celebrate with Christian Ho, the Chinese driver, sitting on the podium. What a race for the RSGP team. It was interrupted quite a bit with the red flag, the safety car. What a race. 2 drivers there, probably thumbs upping each other there, saying good race. And that Alex Powell, he gets to move on back to the pits here. Seems as if he doesn't want anything to do. Rashid Al-Daheri wins the overall category. Alex Powell wins the rookie category. Christian Ho, Kabir Anamag, Kinak Moberta, Maximilian Popov sits 3rd on the Fourth on the rookie podium. Kina Nakamura also sits on the rookie podium as well. Reginol cheat on that as well. Dion Gowda, Alex Ninovich, Gerard, Jen Perezowski, Sebastian Weldon, Fiu Hao, Neto, Abazazga, who won race number 1, no longer leads the championship, Razel, and Francesco Macadico. Salim Hunter, Gachi, Dup, Darianani, Maschio, Rem, Reba, Costa, and then your Frey not finishing this race. So 60 DNFs, quite unfortunately, but you can't do much about that.
Well, they're in second.
What an absolute race. What a race we've had. What a weekend. What a week. If I do say so myself. We're going to take a look at the highlights in a few moments' time. What a weekend it's been for Rashid Al-Dhaheri. Actually banking himself 48 points. Here in race number 1, it is an absolute F4 pile-up. Not a pile-up, car park into the chicane as they try and find as much rubber on the outside of the circuit as humanly possible to weigh the cars by the end. But in the end, it was... There he is, Alex Powell. He sits in second. Christian Ho will pull up as well in P3. And we'll see Rashid Al-Dhaheri pull in. What a race. Competed in the Italian F4 Championship, competed in Freca, and now he's competing in the Middle East. He's Middle Easting everyone, showing that Rashid Al-Dhaheri is dominant. And he's a force to be wrecked with. RSGP, as they'd say it, the excellent driven team. And all other teams, they'll be thinking, now, where can we improve? What a race for Rashid Al-Dhaheri. He very much deserves that. Take a look at the highlights in a few moments' time. From the drivers, you can hear the sounds in the background now. We've got the track sounds available to us with Jake Sensen no longer talking. Well, it was a bit of a hold on the grids there as the drivers waited patiently as well. Alex Ninovich did not get off the line. Meanwhile, the guy next to him, Rashid Al-Dhaheri, well, what can I say? He got off the line. He got off the line almost perfectly. Two other cars in the background did also not get off the line. That's Jan Perenzowski did not get off the line, quite unfortunately. But apart from that, everybody else did. Rashid Al-Dhaheri led into turn number 1, and they were 3 wide, with a bit of dust being kicked up in the background. Cars going side by side as we'd expect on the opening lap, and once more kicking up more dust, with Rashid Al-Dhaheri continuing to lead. Cars went nearly 3 wide into the fast right-hander, and then under the bridge section, the cars went for the first time. People trying to find track position, and meanwhile this happened. Into the chicane, we saw a car going a bit deep. I think it was Perenzowski pushing a car wide. About 3 cars went off the racing line, and there's a barrier that they've placed overnight at the chicane to stop cars from cutting that chicane. And one of them nearly went to the barrier. Kina Nakamura Roberta had a good battle with Kyan Mag. We saw one of the MP Motorsport drivers also looking around the outside of I think that was, I'm not sure which car that was, but that was one of the green and black cars going around the outside. Meanwhile, we saw Alex Powell, sorry, not Alex Powell, but we saw a few cars retire out of that race. One of the KJC cars. One car in the barrier there. And then we saw Giovanni Maschio, a heavy crash into the barrier. That caused the ultimate red flag. We saw him get out of the car. He was perfectly fine. This took time for the car to be retrieved. So we went red flag. We went back to green flag racing about 15 minutes later. A few big moves and shakers up the grid. With Perenzowski and Dion Gowda going for it. Nip and tuck. This was Sebastian Weldon got involved in this. They went 3 wide with the Reginol Motorsport car tapping the barrier, the arm car on the inside. But in the end, the Asmarinen, he just could not be stopped. He led from lights out at the start to the checkered flag at the end. He just could not be stopped. It was Rashid Al-Dhaheri who won race number 3. Indeed, what a race that was. Wow. You could not get any better than that. I can certainly tell you that much. You cannot get any better with that sort of racing. But Reginol, points he scored this weekend. Again, you've got to say, he deserved it. He deserved every moment of it as well. Deserved every minute of what he's done so far this weekend. As we get ready for the podium celebrations, of course, the F4 UAE Championship here this weekend. Supporting is the Formula Regional Middle Eastern Trophy. Podium ceremony.
Trophy certified by FIA. Round 1, Yas Marina, race 3. And today, we really have made a little bit of history. So without further ado, let's welcome the drivers to the rostrum at the end of a gripping race. In third position for Singapore, Christian Ho! 3 races and 3 bits of silverware for the MP Motorsport team on their return to the category. In second position for the United States of America, Alex Powell! A great start for the Pinnacle Motorsport driver who also takes our rookie trophy from this race. For Motorsport, Alex Powell! It's a groundbreaking moment here in the United Arab Emirates in the Formula Regional Middle East Trophy at Yas Marina. The man who grew up just a few short minutes away from the circuit tastes victory on the top step of the podium for the first time at this level. And all roads lead to the pinnacle of the sport from here. The drivers will now gather together for their picture on the podium. And we prepare for the second weekend of action in the Formula Regional Middle East Trophy as the title fight continues a week from now. But the moment they've all been waiting for, and certainly everyone here in the United Arab Emirates waited for, their man on the top step of the podium will get busy with the physics! A great end to a fantastic opening weekend for the new era of Formula Regional. The new Tartus really has excelled itself, and the story will just continue on. A week from now, we'll return to Yas Marina for more of the same in the FRMET. A massive thank you to everybody watching along at both the UAE 4 and Formula Regional Middle East trophies. We'll see you back again next week for more of the same. From me, Jake Sanson, from everybody here at the EMSO, Yas Marina Circuit and Top Speed Racing Events, thank you so much for watching. We'll do it all again a week from now when the battle for the crowns continue. Bye for now.
That was an absolutely amazing week of racing. And we do it all again tomorrow. Qualifying from 4:05. Then followed by the race start. Race number 1 will be getting under... We're getting itself firing up from 5:03, with race number 2 firing itself in at 9 o'clock. On Saturday, we kick the action off from 4:35 with race number 3. Then it's Double Dare Tuesday, rounding out our absolutely amazing week of streaming. Then Thursday, we'll be back with the Formula Regional Middle Eastern Trophy. Wednesday, we'll be back with the Formula Regional Middle Eastern Trophy for an absolutely another amazing week. Then a couple of weeks break before then heading back for round number 3 in Dubai. But yeah, there's a couple of weeks now until the Qatar Grand Prix, which will be kicking off for the Formula Regional Middle Eastern Trophy. But if you guys did enjoy it though, hit the like button, subscribe, and I'll be back tomorrow for qualifying for round number 2. That'll be from 4:05 with race 1 following from 5:03. Till then, it's goodbye.